All right. It is 2:15. I'm in traffic. In about 2.5 hours from now, 5 p.m. Eastern, as I posted last night, I will have Bruce MacDonald of the Talamanca Review podcast on Substack and also on YouTube. I'll get everything set up with the links. Bruce was on with me before, one time before, and then as I've always spoke, I've known Bruce since 2012. Well, I think it was 2013, but both of us were kind of on the scene in a way in 2012. But anyway, that episode was a while back, and that's when the alternative culture was finally catching on to what those of us on the leading edge of the world stage revealing have been working to figure out, understand, explain with the details, going through all the names, the numbers, the monies, the blood, the so on and the so forth about the Jewish conversation. Right? The Zionist ideology, things like that. And so we had a well done conversation, because in my history with Bruce, Bruce was up on his understanding of the Jewish conspiracy, and I was agreeing with the issues, but I sat there and I said, well, hold on a second. Which Jews, right? Like, I was always a which Jew, because, like, I'm sitting there, it's just like, I'm not afraid of this fucking conversation, but I will not fucking repeat it this way. It was my fucking whole attitude, and I used to get in fucking fights with Bruce, because it's just like, I don't disagree with you, but the fuck with the word Jew. It's just like, when you're talking to people, they gotta know what the fuck you're talking about. Out of context, it just sounds like you're talking about all of them. We can't let that fucking narrative run us. Let's fucking, it doesn't get us any fucking closer to understanding what that fucking statement means, because we just think it means literally all in the aggregate, the way it's contextually said. Because we weren't, my friends weren't reflecting on how they sounded to each other, or they really were just perfectly happy being kind of slimy, like, just in love with a global anti-Semitic narrative. Right? So, this revelation really has hit maturity, and it's a great time to have Bruce on with all the matters of current events. Because listen, man, I tell you something. It's like, with the woke stuff out of the way, like, the woke narrative, it's like, there's if somebody is just going with that, it's not because, like, it doesn't matter if the kid's woke or not. The entire circumstances of the event is evidence that it was not a lone wolf operation. That's the point. The point is that it wasn't a lone wolf operation. So the people that make it to not be a lone wolf operation, like the schmuck who was yelling that it was him, these people are all there to fucking play misdirection. may or may not even know anything. You know, that guy could have just been a jackass who's just one of, you know, because Kirk had a lot of enemies. You know, a lot of, you know, he had no major enemies until a month ago. Otherwise, he had plenty of fucking common enemies. And so, you know, they want to fucking pin this on the guys that are fucking, one of the guys who's like some of the people that he has defeated in arguments over the years, which is correspondent to informed ways in which policy is unfolding. So we're gonna have a big heart-to-heart conversation with plenty of the spiritual particulars involved in it, because Bruce, you know, sometimes Bruce takes a deep look into particular things, but he's probably he's way more on his non-data driven flow state, right? There's a lot of things that he, you know, his spiritual life doesn't give him the time to put all that stuff together, right? And my spiritual life doesn't give me the time to put certain things together. The reason why I end up putting certain things together is because I'm more so for that as I am built, at least this phase in my life, than Bruce. I may make Brucey choices in the future, you know, sit there and brag about how, like, I have a normal fucking human physical life of a decent nature, fun and family, and my house and community thing and all that shit. Oh, but yeah, man, I can meditate for like 5 hours a day. I just love doing it. It's just like, it's all good, Bruce. It's all good. You know, but that's the way Bruce is, right? And so he goes live, you know, make a review, or well, he hits record and he just kind of goes with it in a flow state. And you know, you have to be very, you know, there's no room at all for monkey mind. He's very slow speaking and, you know, almost dulcet tonality when he's on that level, you know, because I know what that is. That's sitting deep within yourself. It's like I do the same thing, and certain times I'm like that, right? I mean, theoretically, I'm doing that right now, right? But there's a lot more kind of word filler also kind of going on in what I do, in the sense of a little bit of explanation, because I need a buffer of time to jump directly to the next point as I am processing things, while also having conscious thoughts about, like, I gotta make a right turn right now, right? As opposed to as if I was doing this as a person who is settled in one place. Bruce doesn't commute for shit. Bruce gets to have all of his time. He has everything he needs right there in his UNESCO heritage site. So, because part of this is that with all the left stuff out of the way, that if you look at news in the world, there's no fucking news now. Like, what's really the news in the world, right? It's literally like a one thing at a time news world right now. It's just like, what the fuck were we talking about before Charlie Kirk, right? And the Ukrainian who was stabbed. What the fuck were we talking about, huh? Yeah, I bet you can't even quite exactly bring it up. You have to think about it for a second, don't you? Right? Because it saps you in on all levels. I don't have a quote obsession with any of these things. I just know when I'm guided to see something and figure it out for everyone's benefit. As part of being a lean in and influence on people by showing them what they missed, and hopefully them realizing the wisdom and listening to somebody who is showing you something that you missed, right? And you can see who are the people that don't care about missing something and people who do, right? And people that are for Charlie Kirk and against Charlie Kirk are both guilty of this blindness, because you're getting the savior effect, you're getting the Messiah effect, you're getting your buddy who died on the cross effect, right? That's what it's doing, right? You're having a J seal implanted into you. Don't do it. Don't do it. You don't want the J seal. Yep. If you don't know what a J seal is, just look up J and then the letter J and then seal, which I think you can get that with the ascensionglossary.com or something like that. It might be a chelantic science term, but the J seal is one of the curses that's put on people who work through the crucifix, right? If it's Jesus crucifix curse stuff. There's a lot of curse magic going on, right? No offense to Christians, right? Because they're very severe energetic influences on who you are. It's mistaken for different quote holy forces. Like this gets into the Gnostic side of things, where you're meant to believe that stuff is like this. Is like you got to remember that the Bible is paltered, right? That's always the first thing I just remind people that the Bible is paltered. You as a Christian, you have been told that the source creator of all is to be worshipped like a pagan god in a universal sense, and to give it name and mythos and personality. This is not the appropriate way in which you have a relationship with the higher force. You could call it the Brahman. The Hermeticists call it the all or the mind. But I'm willing to bet that what you are trying to do is that you are actually trying to have a relationship with God in that general sense, because you don't run around except trying to do invocative prayers calling God by name. You're just like God, right? Or you're talking about Jesus the Son, right? And so Jesus will have the name, and then God, right? And then you've got Jehovah, Yahweh, Elohim, and you'll say Elohim, you won't say El. You'll lie to yourself that it's a singular, unless and as a Catholic you tell that lie through your interpretation of the Trinity, which was designed to screw up the divine triadic principle by which all of your trinities, such as Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, and other such trinities, come from. And I said Brahma, not the Brahmin. Important distinction, naturally. Anyway, what's going on, Slick? Jerry Kirk, anagram, like rich ack. I don't know what what's a rich ack. Oddest part of Odyssey is on the rooftop of Circle Kirk is when random guy falls off and dies. Also, Cersei turns men to pigs, then pigs to 5 years younger men. Oh, Cersei. Okay, all right. Playing signal repeater. Frank Church Committee displayed the heart attack gun or hag. Okay. My favorite reflex in the Christian pathos is how they amplify magical display. Okay, right. Rorschach, almost no way to verify. Okay, cool. So anyway, I'm going to go take care of my things, and I will see you guys in about 2.5 hours on my show with Bruce. Peace.